In the name of the Emperor, drop your weapons! Halberds are raised. The Delbers town watch surrounds the 5 companions, Franz, Cleo, Gerhardt, Dwinbar, and brother Thaddeus, trapping them in the pale glow of lantern light. Tension hangs thick in the air. Not a word is spoken. This isn't how the evening was supposed to end. It's the second time today they've had halberds pointed in their faces, and after this morning's alleyway scuffle, the guards have clearly been keeping a close eye. The sergeant strides forward, jaw clenched. "You again?" he barks. "Weren't you the ones stirring trouble after the witch trial?" Greetings one and all, and welcome back to the Temple of Verena. I'm Brother Clavius, servant of truth, keeper of knowledge, and your faithful narrator. What follows are the real adventures of a band of bold souls, drawn from actual Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay sessions. Real players, real choices, and real dice. Let us return to the streets of Delbers. Chapter 4. Run to the Hills. Brother Thaddeus steps forward to face the town guard, calm as a pond, no hesitation, no fear. His hands rise in a gesture of peace, his voice warm and measured. "My good men of the watch, this isn't what it looks like." And then, pure theatre. The monk paints the unconscious, eye-patched rider as a drunkard who fell from his horse, and the companions as good citizens trying to help. There's not a tremble in his voice, not a pause in his tale. He even throws in a hint of righteous concern. How shameful, really, for a guest of the Great Oak Inn to behave so poorly in public. It's seamless. Too seamless. Gerhardt watches it unfold with the eyes of a man who knows the game. Back in Middenheim, he's seen con men and street swindlers spin stories like that. Quick, confident, and dangerously convincing. It's not that Thaddeus lied. It's how effortlessly he did it. That's not the voice of a humble friar. That's the voice of someone who's talked his way out of worse. The experience plants a seed in Gerhardt's mind. The watch sergeant grumbles, unconvinced, but not enough to argue. With a wave of his hand, he orders the coins gathered from the cobblestone, the rider taken to the jailhouse to sleep it off, and the companions let off with a warning. "No more trouble," he says. "I don't care what mountain hold you crawled out of, Master Dwarf. I see you and your companions involved in shenanigans again. You're spending the night in irons." The companions nod. Say nothing. The halberds lower. They're free to go. Out of sight, out of breath, the group lingers under the eaves of a closed bakery. Gerhardt lets out a sharp breath and grins at Thaddeus. "Ranald's teeth," he says. "You didn't even flinch. That was impressive." Thaddeus shrugs it off with a smile, but says nothing. Gerhardt studies him from the corner of his eye. Something's not right. That wasn't just confidence, that was instinct. Well practiced, reflexive. He remembers the words of the mysterious hooded man at the wheel and anchor. One of your companions isn't who they appear to be. Back at the observatory, the stone halls are quiet. No sign of Ursula. No sign of Blitzen. Only flickering candlelight and the sound of boots on old flagstones. The companions share a late meal and speak in hushed tones. The pieces are aligning. That red X on the map, deep in the howling hills, it's calling to them. But so is the growing danger of staying put in Delbers. The eye-patched rider could wake at any moment. If he has friends at the Great Oak, possibly powerful friends, there may already be trouble stirring. Without definitive proof of guilt, there is very little hope of bringing the thief to justice. They decide to move. Quietly, quickly, get the heck out of Delbers. Franz, ever the ranger, rattles off a list of gear for wilderness travel. Tents, bedrolls, rations, water skins. They agree to borrow what they can from the observatory kitchen, then hit the market at first light. They sleep lightly, if at all. Dawn finds them cloaked and ready. Their boots crunch through the thinning frost as they move through the quiet morning streets, coins in hand. The market is still waking, stalls yawning open like lazy dogs. They buy what they need, no more, no less. The thaw has begun. Snow turns to slush beneath their heels. Gutter ice breaks like old glass. A pale sun peers through the clouds, unsure of its place. They reach the gates. The tollkeeper raises an eyebrow at the lot of them. "You lot, heading into the hills? Like that?" he asks. "On foot?" Brother Thaddeus gives him a slow, solemn nod. "Sigmar protects," he says. And with that, they pass beneath the gatehouse and into the wilderness beyond, toward that red mark on the map, and whatever truth lies hidden among the rocks and trees. The road out of Delbers soon fades to little more than a muddy track, winding east along the banks of the thaw-swollen Delb. Slush squelches beneath their boots, soaking into socks despite best efforts. Patches of snow still cling to the northern shadows of trees and rocks, but elsewhere, the melt has turned the ground soft and uncertain. Crows caw overhead, circling in the pale grey sky. The wind carries the distant bleating of sheep, the clatter of a bell from some unseen farmstead. But each step takes them farther from civilization and deeper into the wild. Franz leads the way, ever alert. He scans the tree line for signs of movement, watching for old cart ruts, broken branches, disturbed snow, anything that might hint at passage. From time to time, he pauses to test the soil or listen to the wind. The others follow in a loose line behind him. Cleo keeps close to Franz, clutching his quarterstaff with white knuckles, eyes wide at the vastness unfolding around them. He can't stop thinking about the strange meeting with the old Strigani soothsayer yesterday. It reminds him of the wise woman from his childhood village in the Drakwold. The teachings he received from her growing up. Wisdom regarding herbs, nature, healing, and things he knows not to mention in public. Dwinbar, being not the fastest among the group, curses softly as he sinks ankle-deep in a patch of marshy ground. "Should have brought a mule," he grumbles, shaking muck off his boots. He misses the mountains, the mead halls of Karak Norn, the songs and the goblin hunts. But he knows there is a greater destiny ahead. With the aid of his uncle Dimzad, Dwinbar is hoping to bring glory back to the Bronzebeard clan, and possibly, one day, return to their ancestral hold. Gerhardt whistles a tune under his breath, half to keep spirits up, half to mask the quiet unease that creeps along the back of his neck. He thanks Ranald to still be alive, all things considered. Escaping from Middenheim with a price on his head is not what he had dreamed of. But here he is, heading into the wilderness with a group of strangers, to find a missing wizard and his Pegasus. Gerhardt chuckles to himself by the thought of it. Brother Thaddeus walks with deliberate calm, murmuring to himself now and then. Scripture, perhaps, or maybe just thoughts he prefers not to share aloud. He's thinking of the witch trial, of the peculiar procedure of Faber Gus Heinstork, of the black dagger with the mysterious inscriptions, and of the encounter at the Wheel and Anchor with the Shalian priestess. When the group returns to Delbers, he should very much like to talk to her again, to possibly get to the bottom of the matter. But will she want to speak with him? That question lingers. By the third hour, the last sound of river or farmstead is behind them. Only the whisper of wind through trees remains, and the slow, steady rhythm of boots on wet earth. The hills begin to rise gently, the land swelling and dipping like waves in stone. The trees here grow thicker, older. At first, it's just a feeling. That crawling sense at the back of the neck, the itch between the shoulder blades that no amount of turning or glancing can quite scratch. The road coils through a narrow cleft between two low ridges, the shrubbery pressed in tight on both sides. Shadows play tricks among the branches. Every now and then, Franz pauses, listens, looks. They begin to notice the sounds of the forest fading again, not just muffled now, but absent. No birdsong, no wind, just their own boots, wet and dragging, and the occasional clink of gear. Gerhardt stumbles, catches himself, and mutters something. Dwinbar hushes him. Thaddeus pulls his hood low. His hand stays near his belt. Then Cleo spots it. Just a flicker, movement on the ridge to their left. A figure, maybe. Another on the right. Barely glimpsed through the trees, but unmistakably human. Watching. Keeping pace. He says nothing at first, just picks up his pace and gestures for the others to do the same. The road bends again, rising gently toward a long stretch of open hillside. Just ahead, it narrows into a bottleneck between two leaning rock outcrops. And there they see them, Figures step out from either side of the trail, a dozen or more. Faces hidden behind cloth and rough-cut masks, bows drawn, arrows nocked. Shadows in cloaks, some crouch in the brush above, others stand plain as day in the middle of the trail. A voice calls out, mockingly polite, smooth as oiled rope. "Good day, travelers. Welcome to the Howling Hills. We're the Phantom Arrows. Congratulations, you've made it just far enough to pay your road tax." The bandits laugh. The speaker wears a broad-brimmed hat and a bandana drawn up to his eyes. He smiles, though no one can see it. "You carry silver," he says, gesturing with a gloved hand. "Maybe more. We'll be taking it now. No sudden moves." Behind him, another bow is raised, another arrow pulled back. Behind them, all around, more bows. The wind sighs through the trees like a warning, and the 5 companions stand very, very still. A long pause hangs in the air, heavy as fog. For the first time since setting out, a silent question passes between them. Had they underestimated the Howling Hills? Was their bold march into the wilderness more bravado than preparation? And that, my good listener, is where we're going to end this chapter. What will our 5 adventurers do now? What would you have done if you had been at the table? Please let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it really helps us out with the dark gods of the algorithm. I have been your humble narrator, Brother Clavius. Until next time, may truth prevail.